All right, gentlemen, most of you are back in your seats now. We're going to go ahead and continue. We do have a speaker this morning. I do believe you will enjoy this. A couple of you back there, counselors, if we can get the doors to the kitchen closed, help cut down on some of the background noise. Thank you. Okay. We do have a very interesting speaker this morning. For the purposes of introduction, I'm going to have Mr. Matt Sampson come up and introduce this gentleman. Please give your attention.
If anyone can run the distance, it's Marine veteran Jamie Summerlin. His passion for running and empathy for fellow veterans inspired him in March 2012 to embark on a 3,452-mile, 100-day cross-country journey that began in Oregon and ended in Delaware. His trek across 16 states and the District of Columbia, detailed in his book, Freedom Run, not only raised money for national and local organizations whose mission is to assist veterans, but it inspired communities and veterans alike to dream big and find ways to support the United States military and those who have served our country so bravely. He serves as the CEO for Operation Welcome Home, a veterans facility in Morgantown, and is also an inspirational speaker for business and professional organizations, schools, veterans groups, and the running community. He and his wife Tiffany, also a Marine Corps veteran, reside in Morgantown with their two children, Nicholas and Shayna. Please give a warm Boy State welcome to Jamie Summerlin. Well, good morning. It truly is an honor to be here in front of some of our future leaders here from the great state of West Virginia. I personally enjoy the most getting out and speaking to my fellow West Virginians, sharing a little bit of the dreams and passion that I have not only for our veteran community, but for our state and for the future of our state. One thing to note, someone had asked me from the bio picture, I don't look the same. I figured if I was going to be Forrest Gump, I might as well look like Forrest Gump. So, hence the beard this morning. I grew up in Burnsville, West Virginia. I heard that there's the Braxton group here. That's where I'm from. I left this great state after 18 years of wanting to get out of it and spent 10 years trying to get back. I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. My wife is a Marine Corps veteran as well, as was mentioned, and I wanted to follow in a long line of history and service from our great state. Many of you may or may not know that per capita, West Virginia has the highest population of veterans of any state in the nation. And I think that speaks to two things for our great state. One, we have a long history of service, long before we were a state, and taking care of our fellow men and women, providing for and protecting our individual rights. It also speaks to the fact that we come back home. We wouldn't have our per capita population if our veterans didn't return, and if they didn't want to come back here to West Virginia to make the state a better place. How many of you in the room either have a family member or know someone who served this great country in the military? Raise your hand. Pretty much everybody in the room knows someone. Yesterday, I had a chance last night, as a matter of fact, to watch the video of Miss Anna Hess and hear her inspirational story about how she stepped off to help serve whenever she was called upon. Again, there's a long history of service in this great state, and a lot of people have come back home to make a difference, to become those leaders, to learn exactly what you guys are learning this week, to be the future leaders of this great state, to make a difference, to make an impact. If you look left to right, look at each other, think about the friendships that you're going to build this week, the relationships that you're going to engage in, the lifelong friendships that you're going to start building. Take a moment to think to yourself, not only how can I be a positive influence on someone, but what can I learn from the young man to my left or right? What can I learn from them that's going to help me go back to my own community and help make it a better place? That I can learn to give back, take care of, and support those that I may or may not know, because you never know the kind of impact that you may have. When I started off on my journey 4 years ago, it was this day in 2012 that I stepped into West Virginia. I made a conscious decision that when I was on this journey, one, I could have done it in a shorter time based on the mileage that we were covering every single day, but I wanted to come through the entire state of West Virginia to celebrate with my fellow West Virginians. I wanted to make sure that those that were a part of this journey, supporting me, being a part of this incredible experience that we had, getting a chance to meet heroes along the way, I wanted to celebrate with them because it was for them and because of them that I was able to go do that. You're going to have an opportunity this week to celebrate with one another. You're going to be faced with challenges this week. You were probably faced with some challenges last night, I'm sure, as the snoring was mentioned and other funny comments I've heard. Everybody's going to be faced with challenges. You have to make the decision to overcome those challenges, work together as a team, and accomplish your mission and your goal this week. And then take what you've learned back to your communities, dream big, and believe that you can absolutely make a difference. Sometimes you're going to be faced with people that think you can't do what you say you're going to do. When I said 5 years ago that I wanted to step off on this journey and do this run across the country, I had some of my very close friends tell me you'll never do it. Because 6 years ago, I ran my first marathon. I was never a distance runner. I made a decision that I wanted to get in better shape. I wanted to spend time with my kids out on the football field and soccer field and running and doing all those different things that they were doing without being winded. I wanted to be a dad that just didn't sit on the sidelines. So I made a change, ran the marathon, started running further distances, 40-mile races, 50-mile overnight races, 100-mile races. And I was doing that realizing that I had some opportunity to make a difference. Decided I was going to run across the country to support our heroes, and a lot of people said it would never happen. 100 days, 3,452 miles later, from Coos Bay, Oregon to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, we were standing there in the ocean celebrating. I then came back to West Virginia, decided that we were going to continue to support our veterans here locally, and started Operation Welcome Home, a way to serve and make a difference in our communities. In the past 4 years, we put over 100 veterans back to full-time jobs in north central West Virginia with a dream and a vision to continue to make a big difference around the state. 2 years ago, I got this harebrained idea. I want to put a marathon on in Morgantown, and obviously I'm wearing the shirt. This is not something that we're getting ready to do this year. It's something that we did last year. And again, I had a lot of people tell me it would never happen. You'll never get the support. You'll never get the people to come to West Virginia because it's too hilly. People won't want to run the race. All the challenges and obstacles that people said that we would encounter, we refused to listen. We said we were going to do it, that we could absolutely make a difference. 18 months after we came up with the idea to run the race, we had 1,263 runners from 36 states and 6 countries as far away as Australia and Singapore running through the streets of Morgantown. At the end of the race, when all was said and done, we had brought 7 county law enforcement officers together, state police, people that others said would never come to support this event. They came, they enjoyed it, they had a great time, they lined up to support it again this year, and when everything was all said and done, we turned around and wrote a check for $65,000 to Operation Welcome Home from our inaugural event. Again, people said we could never do it. and we proved them wrong. You have an opportunity this week to prove everybody wrong. A lot of people are probably curious what you're doing here at Boise State this week, what you're learning. Oh, he's just going off to another camp. Go off, have fun, come back home and continue to be the same guy he is. Prove him wrong. Make a difference. Expect better things of yourself and others around you. Understand that you're going to have challenges to overcome. This week, work to make everybody around you a better person. Think about every morning when you wake up how you can make someone else's day a little bit better. Focus on giving to those that you're building those relationships with, and I guarantee you'll have an incredible week. And you'll be able to walk away having learned incredible things, built true friendships, and developed relationships that you can rely on for a lifetime. When you look at the opportunity you have to inspire someone, I want you to think about a story that I'm going to share with you very briefly, and then I've got something that I want to present to the administrator from the race this past year. When I did the run, my son and daughter were with us on the journey. They were 12 and 10 at the time. And my son Nicholas is a pretty avid runner himself. At 12 years old, though, he was just really getting into it. We did the run. He joined me on the journey. Every so often, he'd go out and run a couple of miles with me. We got back, and he decided that he wanted to take up running full time, that's something that he wanted to do in school. And I sat there and cheered him on as he got faster and faster and developed into a pretty solid runner. 2 years ago, we ran a half marathon in Morgantown. He was 14 years old, and he beat me by 3 minutes in the race. Well, I had an excuse, I told him. I'd ran from the finish line to the start. I already had 13 miles under my belt, and ran back down. But he said, no, I beat you, Dad. I said, that's okay. Well, a year later, my fastest run on that course was 1 hour and 33 minutes for the 13 miles. And he beat my time by 7 minutes when he ran that morning. I was the first one at the finish line, raising his arm, cheering him on, proud of what he had accomplished because he had worked so hard to do that. This year, they ran the Deckers Creek Half Marathon again. And out of 700 runners, he was the 15th runner overall at 16 years old. He's worked hard. He's overcome challenges. He's had people tell him along the way, not me because I believed in him, but others say you can't do it. And he proves them wrong every single time. You have to believe in yourself. You have to understand that you have something deep within you that you can accomplish some great things. There are going to be times this week where you're tired, where you're wore out, where you feel like that there's nothing left to give. Oh, I'm about to wake you up before you walk out of here this morning. I want everybody to do me a favor. Sit up in your chairs. Just sit straight up in your chairs. And then I want you to do me a favor. I want you to raise your hands and put them up over your head as high as you can. Just keep them there for a second. At some point this week, there's going to be a time where you feel like you've given everything you possibly can. You just have nothing left to give. You get back home, you're in sports, you're engaged in opportunities in your community, and you feel like I've given everything I possibly can. I want you to remember one thing. The human body is capable of some tremendous things. A lot of times, it's our mind that we have to overcome. We have to believe in ourselves and understand that we've got more to give. Get your hands up there, okay? Now, I want everybody to do me a favor. When you think that you don't have anything left to give, remember this. Raise your hands up 1 more inch higher. Go ahead and put your hands down. If you looked around, 2 things happened. 1, you realize that you've always got a little bit left to give. And 2, probably didn't want to be that guy sitting across from someone and showing him that you didn't want to give. Everybody else around you, you saw their hands go higher, you wanted to get your hands up a little higher. Whenever someone is struggling this week, whenever someone needs a little lift, remember that you've got a little bit more to give and that you can make a difference. You can help them get over those challenges. You can help them overcome those circumstances where they feel like they've given all they can, remind them, you always have a little bit more to give. Take what you've been given this week and go back to your communities and give even more. Make a difference. Make West Virginia great. I've got some medals that I wanted to give this morning to the camp from our race last year. We had 3 different races, an 8K, a half, and a full. And again, I'm an unapologetic West Virginian. When we designed the medals, Jamie Lester, who some of you may have heard of, who designed, how many of you have been to the Coliseum in WVU, the basketball stadium up there, and you've seen the Hot Rod Hundley statue that's there now, or the Jerry West statue? Jamie Lester designed those. He's from Morgantown. He's also the gentleman who designed the West Virginia State Quarter. Last year, when those 1,263 runners left Morgantown, they all had a medal that signified the distance that they did that had a lot of Morgantown architecture in it. And they also had a spot where they could stick one of the West Virginia quarters that we gave them in their race packets whenever they showed up. We wanted them to go away understanding that we've got an incredible state, we've got incredible people, and we've got incredible opportunities to do something special. So it's my honor this morning to be able to present to your administrator a medal from each of the races from last year. And as we continue to grow this event, we'll continue to bring these medals back every single year because we change them up to remind everybody that when someone tells you you can't do something, don't believe them. Prove them wrong. Go out and make a difference and be a positive influence on your communities. Thank you.
As a token of appreciation, I'd like to present this solid gold American Legion Mountaineer Boys State Challenge coin.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, gentlemen. We're going to continue on with our day. To echo the words that we just heard, please go out today, make a difference. Let's prove some people wrong that you can do. Get involved in your jobs and work through. You all need to line up out front in your cottages, and counselors, please march them down to the Assembly Hall for your next meeting. Gentlemen, you are dismissed.